we are celebrating our 20-year anniversary, we wanted to have a young man who could actually share with us the power of Build firsthand from his experiences in being one of the students in one of our very first classes. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Theron Jones.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way up. All the way up.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me well? All right. Great. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. It's a different view up here, you know? I'm honored to be here. Thanks so much for inviting me. Again, my name is TJ Jones, and I am a 2003 Build alum. I appreciate it. Being here today brings back a lot of memories. I vividly remember pitching my business plan to VCs and securing funding in pitches offices over at Asset Management, meeting with mentors and sharing my vision with any person willing to listen, which usually ended when I said that by age 16 I'd make at least $250,000 a year. I remember that. I knew that if I stuck with Build, that I would be able to take my idea and actually turn it into a working business. That I realized. But one thing I had failed to comprehend at that time was how greatly Build would later influence my life after I graduated high school, after I attended college, and still today. In the weeks leading up to today's celebration, I found myself asking in writing the speech, how do you place a value on an idea that one can ignite themselves and take what was once looked at as nothing and change the vantage in order to see it as something extraordinary, particularly for someone who is a product of systemic disenfranchisement? I tried to answer that long question by remembering when Build first got started. Back in 1999, an intelligent, motivated attorney by practice and altruist at heart had an incredible vision and left her cushy role at one of the most prominent law firms, all because she had the audacity to believe in an idea that through the practice of entrepreneurship could forever change the mindsets and circumstances of disaffected youth in East Palo Alto, or EPA, the murder capital just a few years prior. This idea became the mission of an organization she named Build, Businesses United in Investing, Lending, and Development. Tongue twister, no doubt. I can still say it, right? Somewhat vague, but also enigmatic, but the acronym stuck. I can still remember her yelling it after school in the middle of my high school's quad. She had an efficacy about her, though, and she talked fast in her attempt to corral me and my other high school students, our friends down at Eastside. We almost escaped her, but she already had built a working algorithm. She came with fresh boxes of pizza in her hand, so that was tough. I was hungry for knowledge. She was a pro at this, we thought, and she clearly knew what she was doing. So we figured we'd give Build a shot. But we had no idea how much Build would change and catapult our lives in prodigious ways. Most of us came from broken homes. We were the product of parents who were the children of Jim Crow South escapees. While each individual story is complicated, most were tied together by three common threads: violence, drugs, but the worst of all, lack of a mindset towards prosperity. Yeah. Shut up. My biological mother passed away when I was young. My biological father, he just wasn't there. I was stabbed in kindergarten. My uncle was sent to San Quentin Penitentiary when I was 9. My best friend was murdered when I was 16. My older brother was murdered when I was 19. My younger brother started serving his 30 years to life sentence when I was 23. And just a few years ago, one of my good friends, I watched him died from gunshot wounds outside of my house, taking his last breaths in my hands. I say all of that to say EPA was in turmoil. This was a town incorporated in order to uplift minorities through the realization of who our ancestors were before slavery, 1619, 400 years ago, and gain knowledge of our own accomplishments hidden from traditional public school teachings. What is now known as the Ville, the area behind Facebook with all the streets named after colleges, originated from Nairobi Village. The G, the area off of the Embarcadero exit off 101 with streets named after plants, that originated from the Gardens. But through strategic disenfranchisement, EPA was flooded with crack cocaine and left with guns and open shipping containers up for grabs in the middle of the night. The town was decimated into a state where 2/3 of kids didn't graduate high school because they owned what, to me, no human being should ever hold on to, the idea that you are not good enough. The idea and mission behind BUILD are by definition, categorically and resultatively opposed to that. So there are two emotions in the world. Where in a mental context, one can live out of fear of one's own actions and self, BUILD helped us tap into our ability to love ourselves by planting the idea that we are more than sufficient, that our talents can have both intangible and pecuniary value, and the most important of all, that we can each be each other's positive feedback loop. Seeing someone who looks like you push through barriers that were previously seen as insurmountable is possibly the most encouraging feeling any person can have, regardless of where you come from. Ideally, parents or role models do this for their children, but in the void or significant lack thereof, BUILD exists for us. BUILD made me a business plan competition winner, taught me how to start a profitable business in high school, helped me get featured in the New York Times and into Emory University, gave me the skills to launch my own DJ company, which put me through college and paid for my own home down payment. And last year, being married to my beautiful wife, Jalika, with one kid and now another on the way. Word. I mustered up enough confidence to leave behind 11, 12 years of finance and follow my passion, software engineering. Yeah, word. It's because I can't escape from writing code. Even when I went home, I'd go home at night and write in Swift. It was something I just did naturally, and I love mobile development. I released an app for the city of San Francisco, and I'm currently at the tail end of teaching myself data structures and algorithms in order to land my dream role as an iOS developer in the Bay Area. Thank you. Thank you. But I would have never continued on in my path without the mental fortitude, confidence, and idea that I am good enough, which BUILD helped instill in me 20 years ago. So tonight, as we celebrate 20 years of BUILD, I could go on, but I'm going to cut it and just say thank you to our founder, Suzanne. All right. You cared for me like I was part of your family. You let me dream and appreciate life outside of my immediate environment and contextual realms. I appreciate everything from allowing me to be around Alex when he was a baby, and now my daughter, My Joy, plays with your daughter, Julia. Right? And it's the small things, that I appreciate it the most. So I'm grateful for your mentorship, for your friendship, your wisdom, and I'm glad to consider you as family. So thank you. Thank you to your husband, Josh, to your children, Alex and Julia. Thank you, My Joy and Jalika, for being the best parts of me. And thank you, everyone here today, for being the best parts of BUILD. Thank you.